I was trying to get it just past this part. Okay, so I'm going to watch at least 2 episodes. I've queued up 4, but I might watch only 2 for this video. I need a break from the real world. Everything is so sad right now. So I'm just going to go back to times when things were crazy, but they weren't, I don't know, shown as much. So it's near the end of the month, and I always need a little help. If anybody has a couple extra dollars they want to help out a homeless person, my PayPal is Adrasdea. That's Adrasdea. I'll put it in the description. Anything helps, really. This time of the month, I'm always needing something, and anything helps to keep me stable and keep me fed. But alright, I'll shut up about it and just watch the show for a little bit.
Got to say about that?
I didn't bust it, honest. He's telling the truth, Mr. Drysdale. It was hanging in pieces like that when we moved in.
Yes, sir. No, it's supposed to be like that. It was made that way. It's been like that for 200 years.
200 years? Hey, this house is older than it looks. Oh, I plumb forgot.
Everything in Hollywood's older than it looks.
Nice boy. His ma, my cousin Pearl, give me the notion to move out here.
Well, I'm most grateful to her. Oh, but first, I wanted to explain about this priceless crystal chandelier. It was designed and made for Louis XV, hung in the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles. Napoleon Bonaparte planned campaigns with the light of that chandelier. Talleyrand used it. Wellington, Disraeli, Bismarck, Wilson.
Mr. Drysdale, we're just plain folk. We don't mind a few things being secondhand. Getting back to my cousin Pearl, she's looking after the old home place for me. You ain't never seen my family home, have you?
No, I haven't, Mr. Clever.
It's a dandy.
Yes, those southern mansions are beautiful. I suppose it has the large white pillars.
It did, but we bring them along and put them on the beds out here.
No, you see, I was referring to wooden pillars.
Oh, I ain't never slept on one of them. We had everything first class back home. Sure hope Pearl's taking good care of that place.
That looks like the house. I want to go back and look at it, but that looked like the house from Psycho back up the hill.
Why, you're Mr. Brewster from the oil company that paid Cousin Jed all that money for his swamp.
25 million to be exact.
You ain't here to back out, are you?
No, indeed. Your cousin's money is safe in the bank in California. I just thought you'd like to know that I heard from the bank, and your family arrived in Beverly Hills safe and sound.
Oh, that is good news. My son Jethro drove him out, you know.
Yes, I know he did. Oh, I have something here from the bank. I think you'll enjoy it.
For me?
They told me at your house I'd find you here.
Yeah, well, I promised Cousin Jed I'd keep an eye on the old home place for him. It's a long trip from my house, but I'm glad to do it for Jed.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, well, you know, can I help you look for that money?
Money, it's pictures of the estate that Mr. Drysdale, the president of the bank, purchased for him in Beverly Hills.
Oh.
This is now the Dead Clamford estate.
Land to mercy, look at that. Why, it's bigger than the state capitol.
Quite a change from this place, all right.
What in the world is that?
Oh, that's a swimming pool.
Swimming pool?
Yes, quite ornate.
Oh, my son Jethro's gonna like that.
I knew they'd be doing their laundry in it. I'd be doing my laundry with the water. Hell, that's a lot of water.
Granny, when we's done washing, can I go swimming here in the cement pond?
Of course not. I don't allow nobody splash splashed around in my wash water.
Ain't there no place else you can wash?
The cement pond's the only water we got. The place ain't got a well, it ain't got a creek. Ain't even got a rain barrel to catch what comes out of the sky.
Oh, when that banker fella seen me unloading your wash tub and scrubbing board, he said, why, you can throw that away. We don't use them things here in Beverly Hills.
Now, you listen here to me, boy. I don't care how other folks live in Beverly Hills, but us Clampets is gonna be clean.
Yes, ma'am.
May not have it as nice as we had it back home in the cabin. Right in the house and everything. But we ain't gonna lower our standards.
No, ma'am.
Here, wrench these things out for me. We gotta get this tub back to the kitchen for Ellie's bath. Yep. Being clean is a strict rule with your Uncle Jed. Let me look you over. Yeah. Many's the time we've been down to our last piece of fat. I'd say, shall I cook it to eat it, or shall I render it down for soap? You'd say no. Render it down for soap, Granny. The Lord will feed us poor folks, but we gotta do our own washing.
Amen.
But Uncle Jed ain't poor now, Granny. He got $25 million.
How long do you think that's gonna last if we go throwing it away on store-bought soap? Waste not, want not.
Now, here's a view of the entrance hall.
Look at the horse.
My stars and garters. Why, it's a palace. Whoever would have thought that my cousin Jed would be living in an estate like this?
Well, the credit is yours. You're the one who talked him into moving.
Oh, well, I put the notion in his head. But it was really kind of Allie Mae when.
Yes, his daughter will have a wonderful life as the Beverly Hills debutante. Can't you just see that beautiful girl descending this magnificent stairway?
I sure can.
Really, me? I don't reckon that's the way a young lady comes down the steps in Beverly Hills, is it, Mr. Drysdale? Oh, not as a rule, no.
Oh, I can come down the other way. Watch this.
Very graceful.
How's that?
Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind.
Show me.
No, my secretary will show you. Oh, she's in town doing some shopping for you.
Oh, what's she getting me?
Now, that's going to be a surprise, Ellie, but it's some things you've been a-needing, and they're going to be pretty, and you're going to like them.
Think I've been a-needing? A set of muskrat traps.
She's putting him a real belt because she's
Green
using a
grape
rope.
sticker?
Nope.
A ready-made slingshot.
Now, Ellie, you way off the track. Now, you wait till Miss Hathaway gets here, and you'll see.
Yes. Well, I'll be pushing along to the bank.
My nose is itching.
This mansion of his has 32 rooms and 14 baths.
14 bathrooms?
Yes.
A sunken marble bathtub. Oh, I can just see Ellie Mae having herself a bubble bath in there. I tell you, Mr. Brewster, the more I see of these pictures, the more I want to get out there and help Cousin Jed. Of course, I wouldn't go without being asked.
Well, naturally. But, you know, I think you should go.
I've been asked.
Now, it's not exactly my province. Well, why don't you telephone your cousin and talk to him?
Oh, why, they ain't a telephone within 40 miles of this place. Nearest one, I guess, is at the International Emporium, clean over to Oxford.
Well, I'll be happy to drive you over there.
Oh, I couldn't let you drive me all that way just to use telephone. Busy oil company man like you. That's 40 miles.
There's no trip at all in this car.
No, I couldn't do it. Why, folks would see me riding in this big, shiny car with a tall, good-looking city fella. Why, sure as the world, they'd think that... Let's go.
What about your horse and buggy?
Oh, just untie Bessie. You go on home.
And here is Miss Hathaway.
Oh, Capitan! traiteur.
Fine. Ready for Ellie Mae?
Gentlemen, aided and abetted by the gossamer garments, exotic lotions, and other feminine appurtenances within these cartons, I am ready to assume the role of Pygmalion and transform that barefoot Galatea into a striking and sophisticated paragon of Beverly Hills literature.
That's yes the hard way. Well, duty calls. I leave you in capable hands. Goodbye, Mr. Clavitt.
Thank you, sir.
Chief,
Well, I sure is neighborly of you, Miss Hathaway. Reckon you can handle Ellie Mae?
Uncle Jay, Granny says... Oh, howdy, Miss Hathaway. No, bonjour, Jeffo.
Here are them things in for Miss Hathaway, Jethro.
I think she kind of likes you, boy.
She does? Well, I can't take them into the house. That's what I come out here to tell you. Granny says that all the men folks got to stay out of the house while Ella Mae's taking her bath.
Oh.
But isn't Ellie Mae bathing in the privacy of her own bedroom suite?
Hear what she called you? Sweet.
What's the matter with him? Why doesn't he answer?
Hey, just a little shy, I reckon. Ask him again.
Is Ellie Mae in her bedroom suite?
No, she ain't, darling.
Never mind, I'll find her myself.
Uncle Jed, I got me a girl. You sure have, boy, and a city girl, too.
I've actually known guys that thought that way, though. You call him honey or sweetie, they're like, oh, we're dating.
Every
No,
girl in the 5th grade
no,
was after him.
I hardly think anything serious can develop between boys and girls in the 5th grade.
Oh, I don't know. So far this year, there's been 3 couples out of Jethro's class get married.
Married. 5th grader.
Parson's nearly as busy in that school as the teacher.
Amazing. Oh, I've heard of
Uh-oh, wouldn't you know it? There's that Snoopy Alverna Bradshaw and her big mouth daughter sitting on my front porch. Oh, I can just hear the stories they'll start going around if they see me in this car here with you. Yoo-hoo! Alverna! It's me! Terrible gossip, that woman, always making trouble. She tried to talk Granny out of going to California. She ought to see Granny now. Living like a queen in that Beverly Hills mansion. I should have listened to Alverna Bradshaw and stayed home. We had a pump right in the house. Didn't have to choke water a quarter of a mile. You ready to get drenched off, Ellie?
Well, not yet, Granny. Should have washed my hair.
No. You better wait till I can catch some rainwater. That pond water smells like it's got medicine in it.
I wondered why there's no fish in that pond.
Yeah, I reckon that water killed them fish. But don't you worry. My lye soap will kill anything that killed them fish.
Have you seen... What in the world's going on here?
Well, there's a bath going on. That's what's going on. Howdy.
But I don't understand.
Well, then somebody ought to explain it to you, sissy woman. You see, first you heat some water. Then you put it in a great big tub like this. You put some soap in it, and then you get in it, and you start to wash, and that's what you call a bath.
Granny, you don't have to do this sort of thing in Beverly Hills.
Don't you listen to her, Ellie. Ain't you ever heard that saying that cleanness is next to godliness?
But of course, John Wesley said that.
And I bet he didn't live in Beverly Hills. Here, Ellie, dry yourself off with this nice big bath towel. My girl, I'll rinse off that old lye soap.
Lye soap. Did you say lye soap?
That's right. I make it myself.
But that will ruin this beautiful girl's delicate skin.
I've been washing with it for 72 years. Look at my skin.
Like leather.
Yeah. Nice, ain't it?
Granny, I hope you will forgive my momentary bewilderment at this primitive form of ablution, but please let me explain.
So first explain what you just said.
Well, Ellie Mae has a beautiful big bathtub upstairs.
Upstairs. It was hard enough carrying the water in here. I ain't going to tote no water upstairs.
You don't have to. There's a big, beautiful... Haven't Haven't you been upstairs?
No. Jed said that probably belonged to somebody else. Ain't that right, Ellie?
Yeah. Paul said he heard tell that folks sometimes live one family right on top of another.
But that's only in apartment houses. This entire house belongs to you. And each one has his own individual bedroom suite. Come along and let me show you. And also the lovely things I brought from town.
Yeah, you go ahead. I'll be up directly.
What all did you bring from town?
Everything, Ellie. Everything from chapeau to pumps.
Pumps! Praise the Lord. Now I won't have to tote water.
Jethro? Yeah, Uncle Jed? Now, as you're going to be keeping company with a girl, is there any questions you like to ask me? What kind of questions? Oh, about girls. How much you know about girls? They softer than boys. Yeah, I reckon. Speaking.
And they shorter and rounder.
Yeah?
And the hair's longer and it smells sweet when you snuggles up to it.
Oh, so you've been doing some snuggling, have you?
I've done more than that.
I reckon you better tell me about it. Who was she?
Prettiest girl in the hills. Big Mouth Bradshaw.
Well, Verner's girl. I heard tell she's kind of fast.
Is she ever? Uncle Jed, I was walking past the cabin, and Big Mouth, she calls out the window to me. She says, "Howdy, Jethro." She says, "My ma's just made a big batch of cookies. Come on in and have some." And I says, "Sure your ma won't mind?" She says, "Ma's gone, and so's Pa. I'm here all alone." Well, Uncle Jed, I was in that house before you could wink an eye.
Say, as I blame you.
No sooner was I inside, the Big Mouth, she puts a music record on the phonograph machine and commences to sashaying around, twisting and a-turning.
Dancing.
Yeah, I reckon so. Anyway, she says, "Put your arms around me, Jethro, and I'll teach you the two-step."
What'd you say?
I says, "Listen, Big Mouth," I says, "here we are all alone. Your ma and your pa gone. And you think that I'm going to waste my time dancing?" I says, "Not me, sister. Bring on them cookies."
What'd she say?
Well,
Jed, you and Jethro can start digging the well. That city woman brought us some pumps.
That's fine, Granny. We'll get right to it. What'd that Bradshaw girl say when you said bring on them cookies?
well, she just held up them cookies like this here. Kind of blinked her eyes at me and said, "Jethro, which do you think it tastes sweeter? These here cookies or my lips?" Well, Uncle Jed,
He went
right
for the
then and
cookies.
there's when I found out she was fast. I grabbed them two cookies, and it took me 2 miles to outrun that gal.
Jethro, on one of these days, you and me's got to have a long talk.
Boy ain't right.
I ought to be out there looking after Jethro. You know Jed's going to need him to help garden a place this big.
Well, most Beverly Hills mansions have regular gardeners. And, of course, a complete sprinkling system.
Sprinkling system.
Oh, yes, indeed. That entire lawn is crisscrossed with underground pipes.
Land to mercy.
Why, thunder, Jethro, there's water all over this property. Ain't too deep, neither.
I know. Should I commence to digging?
Well, now, let's get as close to the house as we can. That way the pump won't have so far to pull.
He's got a divining rod.
Jethro!
Oh, here comes his sweetheart.
It's Clapper. I cannot handle that daughter of yours.
What happened?
I opened that box of beautiful clothes, turned my back for a moment, and she bolted like a wild colt.
I was feared this would happen. Where is she?
She's up there.
I'll go right up and talk to her.
Jethro, have you been upstairs yet?
No, ma'am.
Then you've got a surprise coming to you.
What is it?
Your sweets.
So are you.
Oh, howdy, Pop.
Wait. I'm ashamed of you. Running off from Miss Hathaway.
I didn't run away from Miss Hathaway.
What'd you climb up here for?
To cut a fork for that new store-bought slingshot she brought.
Did she bring you a slingshot?
Fanciest thing you ever did see. Just a minute, I'll hook it up and you can see for yourself.
Is it a bra?
Look at that.
Yep.
A store-bought, lace-trimmed, double-barrel slingshot.
Ain't it a doozy? I don't know how good I can aim it, but it'll sure throw a heap of rocks.
I tell you, Granny, there's so much water here, you could shoot a load of buckshot in that ground and bring up a dozen springs.
I'll be right back.
Gardner's about to trip them out.
I ain't never missed yet.
Alright, so that was Meanwhile back at the cabin. Gonna go on to the next episode.
Listen to my story about...
This is the Clampetts meet Mrs. Drysdale.
Come on. We's waiting. Turn it a mite that way, Jethro.
That's a
Only
still.
one bad thing about
if anyone's
putting you still
wondering.
here, Granny.
What's that?
Drysdale place is downwind. The smell of your corn liquor or brewing is going to drive poor Miss Drysdale right out of her mind. She's a drinking woman.
How do you know, Uncle Jay?
Well, he kind of let it slip by. Remember when we was unloading this from the truck?
Yeah?
He says to me, what's that? I said, that's still for making corn liquor. He turned kind of white and trembly, and he says, oh, please don't ever let my wife see that. I reckon she just can't leave the stuff alone.
Some folks like that. Terrible.
Come to think of it, that's how come she's in Boston.
What kind of drinker?
Yeah, Miss Hathaway says she goes all over every place looking to get cured.
Damn city cure's no good. The minute you go to taking it away from them, they want it all the more. I could cure Mrs. Drysdale of her drinking in 2 days.
How, Granny?
I just telling her she could have all she wanted. When they find out you don't care if they drink, they don't care to drink.
That sure would be a blessing. Over here, Ellie, now. No more talk about drinking.
Hey, look, everybody. Ella Mae's wearing a dress.
Oh, Mr. Drysdale's in the house to see you.
All right. My, ain't she pretty?
Yeah. But Ellie, you're showing too much bare hot.
Well, that ain't her fault, Granny. She just got the dress on backwards. Ellie, honey, put it on the other way around.
All right.
Hold on. What kind of a dress is that?
Well, Miss Hathaway said it's a California sundress.
Let no son of mine wear it. Daughter neither. Granny, you'd best get her into something decent whilst I talk to Mr. Drysdale.
Mr. Drysdale's office, Miss Hathaway speaking. Boston. That must be Mrs. Drysdale. No. Don't put her on. She'll only make my life Mrs. Drysdale. How are you? How are things in Boston?
Oh, the doctors here are just as silly as the ones in Beverly Hills. They insist there's nothing wrong with me. They've got me so depressed. I just had to call and talk to my darling. Are you taking good care of him?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, he's stretched out on the sofa right now having his nap.
How sweet. Well, the moment he wakens, you take his temperature and give him some of that blue medicine. What? He's waking now? Oh, marvelous. Put him on. Tell him Mumsy wants to hear his sweet voice.
Speak to your Mumsy. He whined.
Oh, he probably has a migraine.
Even made a hypochondriac out of you. Any message for Mr. Drysdale?
Who? Oh, Melvin, my husband. Yes, well, is he there?
No, he's up at the Clamford estate. Clamford. They bought the place next to yours just about the time you left for Boston.
I don't find them listed in the first families. You tell Milburn not to mingle with them socially until I've had a genealogical check run on them. We don't want riffraff living under our very noses.
For pain, one swaller. Don't open near fire.
I'll be right in, Mr. Drysdale.
Thank you, Aunt May. Granny, this is quite an array of medicines you have here.
Yep, them's all the remedies I made myself.
I wish you'd make something to help my wife. She's a terrible hypochondriac.
Oh, that's all right, Ellie, you run along now. I'll join you directly.
There she goes from doctor to doctor to doctor.
Well, I reckon the doctor can't help what's ailing her.
Psychosomatic. But she insists on prescription. Oh, I wish you could see our bedroom. Bottles all over the place. I plead with her. I hide the stuff. She always finds it or gets more. You think that's a lot of bottles? You should see my wife after a trip to the pharmacy. Why, she's so loaded she can hardly stagger up the stairs.
Sit down, Mr. Drysdale. Set yourself.
And she has a dog. A perfectly healthy poodle. Now, would you believe that she
Don't tell me.
laps it up just like she does?
Lord, you're sure toting a heavy burden. Now, maybe I can help you. Now, if she was to think that every time that she was to...
You can just wear that barrel till your clothes get dry.
What happened to Jethro? Get too close to a straw?
He jumped in the pond with his clothes on. Mr. Drysdale, I'm sorry to kept you waiting. Did Granny tell you about her complaints about the kitchen?
Ed, I'm ashamed to mention my piddling troubles to a man bowed down with the misery he's got. You know his wife.
Mr. Drysdale, our hearts go out to you.
And we're going to help you, ain't we, Jed?
You bet you we are. Man serves for a purpose in this world if he can't help his neighbor.
Oh, you're very kind, but I'll manage. I've been living with it for years.
Have a nip, it'll brace you out.
Oh, no, thank you. I never touch it.
You hear that, Jed? Poor man. He's got all the trouble and none of the fun.
There goes a soft-hearted woman.
Yeah. Now, about her complaints.
Oh, yeah. Well, for one thing, that electric meat grinder has been giving Granny a heap of trouble.
Electric meat grinder?
Yeah, listen right here in the dish trough. Oh, it grinds the meat all right, but then you can't find it. It goes down that pipe. Granny lost 2 squirrels and a rabbit in that thing.
That's a disposal. You only put things in there that you don't want.
Now, Mr. Drysdale, that ain't altogether true. Granny sure one of them squirrels and that rabbit. And another thing, this here sideways pump don't work at all. We must have carried in a barrel of water to prime that thing, but it don't work. Oh, there's another thing. Every once in a while, this little thingamajig here makes a ringing noise like that. There it goes again.
Well, that's the telephone.
There
Someone's
it goes
calling you.
again.
I don't hear him.
They're calling you on the telephone. Say hello into it.
Hello.
Flip the receiver first. Now say it. Hello.
Mr. Barber?
He said my name. Can he see through this thing?
No.
Mr. Clamford, may I please speak to Mr. Drysdale?
Well, they sure can see, or else how would they know you're standing here?
That's my secretary. She knows I'm here. Yes, Miss Hathaway.
Mr. Drysdale, I have some messages.
I'll be doggone.
what y'all was up to. You can't talk to Ma on that thing.
Well, look who's getting too smart for his britches.
Too big for him, too.
Mr. Drysdale says we can talk to her.
Yeah, you think you know more than Mr. Drysdale?
Well, I know Ma ain't got no telephone.
Excuse me, Paul, operator.
You sure small things.
Yeah, who asked you to butt in?
I'll get it. I know what to do when it does that. Hello? Yeah, he's here. Well, for goodness sake. Well, sure. Well, howdy there, Miss Drysdale. This here is...
Margaret! Oh, how wonderful. Man? Oh, yes, the telephone man. Well, how are you?
I'm worried, that's how I am. I'm afraid, Milburn, that you've let the wrong kind of people move in next door to us, and I'm dreadfully upset.
Now, dear, you mustn't let yourself get into this condition. Control yourself. No, dear, you mustn't come home yet. No, not until we get them in shape. I mean, get you in shape. You know, I will wait until you're cute.
Milburn, I want to meet the Clampetts as soon as possible. Now, when will that be?
What about Christmas? Next year.
Milburn, this conversation is making less and less sense. Now, I want the truth about the Clampetts, or I'm flying home immediately.
Now, Margaret, please control yourself. I don't want you flying. No, please, dear, please, stay on the ground. Dear, why don't you lie down and take a sedative? And I'll call you from the office. Goodbye. I'm sorry, my wife. You understand. Well, I'll see you later. Keep your chin up.
Poor man.
Would it just tear your heart out? He is so ashamed of his wife, he don't even want us to meet her.
What he says, she won't be cured till Christmas of next year.
You better help me, Granny.
I still say I could cure Mrs. Drysdale in 2 days.
Sure be worth a try. If we could get her out here.
Kid, misery loves company. And if that poor, miserable woman thought that she had a drinking friend living next door.
Granny, you ain't ever down more than a thimbleful in your whole life.
I know, kid. But it'd be worth a little white lie to help a neighbor and save a marriage.
But how? Hello? Yes, ma'am. Ain't that a stroke of luck, Granny? It's Mrs. Drysdale again. No, ma'am, he ain't here, Mrs. Drysdale, but Granny and me'd like to talk to you. We your next-door neighbors, the Clampetts.
Listen, honey, I got my still set up not 50 feet from your back door. Now you come on home and you and me will get glassy-eyed, falling down crocked. We'll get juiced at eyeballs. How does that sound to you, honey?
I don't hear nothing.
Me neither.
What do you mean my wife's on her way to Boston?
The message I got when I tried to put through your call. She's on a jet, right?
Never mind the grisly details. Oh, I am ruined. If Margaret gets one look at those hillbillies next door, she'll leave me. Get my psychiatrist over here. Move over, Claude. I need this more than you do.
You don't need your psychiatrist. You're looking at the dark side.
There is a bright side.
Of course. Your wife is an intelligent woman. She'll see that underneath that rough exterior, the Clampetts are basically fine people. Why, she may even help them to get socially acclimated.
You're right. I don't need my psychiatrist. You do.
Your wife will take...
My wife, through whose aristocratic veins flows blood the color of bluing, considers anyone whose ancestors did not arrive on the Mayflower immigrants.
She does make rather a fetish at the family tree.
But nothing. I'm stuck. I'm either going to lose my wife or my largest depositor. That's what makes the whole thing so difficult. You know, I like the Clampetts, but I love my wife. Isn't life weird? She's a snob, she's a hypochondriac, she's not young and beautiful, but I love her. And now I do need my psychiatrist.
Now, Mr. Drysdale, as we used to say at Vassar, que tout devient tu aclaresat. Courage will light your path.
Yes, I know what I have to do. I'll go to the airport. I'll take Margaret in my arms. I'll look her in the eye and lie like a rug. Tell her the Crampets have left town and put her back on the plane.
I beseech you, do not become enmeshed in a web of lies.
But it won't be a lie if the Crampets are tricked into actually leaving town.
But they're just getting settled. What could possibly induce them to leave town?
That's your problem.
Me? You expect me?
But they like you. Finagle them into going to Palm Springs for a few days.
No, no. I will not help you spin your deceitful web.
Miss Hathaway, would you rather be an unemployed secretary or a spider at a raid?
You know, I think the Clampets might enjoy Palm Springs.
Palm Springs? Where's that?
It's about 125 miles from here, in the desert.
Desert?
Yeah, remember we crossed from them on the way out here. All that sand?
Yeah, I remember. You ain't getting me to no desert. Trees were so far apart, the woodpeckers had to tote lunch.
But this is different, Granny. This is a beautiful resort with lots of trees and fine hotels and swimming pools.
You got a pond for swimming right there.
Ellie's out swimming right now.
You didn't jump in with her clothes on, did you?
I don't know.
Oh, surely not. She promised to wear the lovely swim ensemble I got her.
Yeah, she done just like Jethro. Here she comes with the dress shrunk clear up to her. Granny!
What's the matter?
All her hair come out.
What?
It's true. Ellie lost her beautiful hair.
Heaven help her, she's bald as an eagle.
May, take off your bathing cap.
Oh, praise be.
All right, but Ellie, you hadn't ought to went swimming with your clothes on and shrunk up that nice dress.
This ain't a dress, is it, Miss Jane?
No, dear, it's a beach jacket to wear over a bathing suit.
Ellie Mae Clampett.
Cover up your nakedness, child.
That's the way everyone goes swimming out here. It's perfectly proper.
Well, you wouldn't catch me in nothing like that.
Me neither.
Mr. Clampett, how would you like for a member of your family to become Princess of Palm Springs?
What?
They're holding a beauty contest at the Springs this week, and someone in this very room has the face and the figure to win. When the judges see her in a bathing suit...
I told you I ain't putting on no bathing suit.
Believe me, Mr. Clampett, this beautiful daughter of yours can win that Palm Springs beauty contest without even trying.
Can we go, Pa?
I'm sorry, Ellie Mae, but I just don't cotton to the notion of a bunch of strangers gawking at your bare limb. Besides, we already know you're the prettiest. Why shame all them other girls? Come on, get some clothes on.
Yes, sir, Pa.
Mr. Clampett, I do wish you would reconsider about going to Palm Springs, even if Ellie
Uncle
doesn't...
Jay, Duke, and... Howdy, Miss Hathaway.
Jane to you, Jethro.
Well, Jane to you, too. It means all set to go hunting, ain't we, Duke?
Jethro, have you ever hunted in the desert?
No, ma'am.
Oh, it's a fascinating place. You might even see a mirage.
If there's one there, old Duke will tree it. He's the best hunting dog there is.
Well, love hunting around Palm Springs. You'll all love Palm Springs. They have wonderful hotels. Have you ever stayed in a beautiful hotel suite?
No, I ain't, darling.
Granny, let's you and me go and leave these two lovebirds alone.
No, wait, please, let me take you all to Palm Springs.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you take Jethro and Ellie Mae and me and Granny will stay here?
But then Mrs. Drysdale would see. I mean...
Is Drysdale coming home? Is that why you was trying to get us out of town so we wouldn't meet her?
Yes, that is the reason. I'm so ashamed I could die.
Yeah, now, don't go to crying about it. The way I look at it, ain't nobody got a right to be ashamed of nobody else. Good Lord made us all, and if we's good enough for him, we sure ought to be good enough for each other.
Amen.
I'll tell you what, if this means so much to you, we'll all pick up and go to them Palm Springs with you.
Oh, you? Mr. Drysdale will be so happy. I don't know if Billy may pack.
There, Elton. The Clampett's gardener shouldn't leave his car parked in the front driveway that way.
Oh, you're absolutely right, dear, yes. Well, Margaret, don't you want to stop at home first and freshen up? Take some medicine or something?
Milburn, I have just flown 3,000 miles to meet the Clampetts, and I intend to meet them right now.
Well, Don, they're probably out of town. You see, they travel extensively. Oh, they're wonderful people. It'd be a shame if you missed them. But I know how anxious you are to get back to Boston and your doctors. And Sonny. How is Sonny? How's he like Harvard this year? Is it Yale? Princeton? Dartmouth? Let's go ask him.
Milburn, what is the matter with you? Milburn, let go. Let go, you hear me? Let go, I say. Let go. Have you gone mad? Let go, you beast.
Step aside, lady. I'll shoot it.
What'd you shoot, Jethro?
I think it was a fox.
Who's that?
My wife. And why aren't you in Palm Springs? Let's get her home as quickly as possible.
What's going on?
Jethro shot a fox. That's Miss Drysdale, stewed to the gills.
No wonder he didn't want us to see her.
Poor woman.
You mean poor husband.
Yeah. We can't go up to Palm Springs and leave our neighbor at a time like this.
That's right. We gotta pitch in and see that his wife gets cured.
Uncle Jed, are we going hunting?
Might as well. It'll be a while before she sleeps that one off.
Well, I hope there's some possum around. These skinny old California foxes ain't worth shooting at.
Alright, so that's the end of that episode. I think I'm gonna stop it here. I gotta go to the store and get something to eat. I'm snacking on peanuts, but I want something substantial. So I'm gonna go get me a bag of frozen chicken strips. What really made me laugh about this episode was when they were with the phone. They were so impressed with the phone. I have seen people in my family that acted that way when I showed them technological things that they had no idea existed. Because I grew up, I grew up in Florida, but a lot of my family is in Georgia, and they're in very rural areas of Georgia. And I've got a uncle and an aunt that live right across the street from each other, out in the woods. They've lived across the street from each other their whole lives. And then in another part of Georgia, we got another set of family, aunts and uncles that live across the street from each other. And some of these little groups we have, they don't know a lot about the outside world. They're still hunting and moonshine, and I have family that makes moonshine. They gave me a bottle of wine once when I went over to see them. But there was this once that we went to see my aunt who she lived in Houston, Georgia at the time. Which, if anybody knows about Houston, Georgia, they know that it is in nowhere. It is this little tiny area. And this was way back in, I want to say 2004, 2005. So we had a GPS, and I told my grandmother that the GPS would give us the directions so she wouldn't have to keep giving me directions. Even though I knew the way, I kind of just wanted her to stop telling me where to go. So I wanted to show her that the car could do it. And she lost her shit. When we got there, she ran in, she said, "Wait here." And she brought everybody out of the house. There's like 10 of them. And she said, "Look at this. The car actually found you on the map." And my aunt said, "No, it didn't. We ain't on no map." And she was right. She was not on the map. What the car did was it said, "You've reached your destination," or "This is unspecified, but we think this is the way you have to go." and it did tell us directly to her house, and my aunt was just absolutely in shock that her house was found by the GPS, and it was the funniest thing to me. I had only recently graduated high school, and I knew, because I grew up with these technological things, but they lived out in the woods, and they had never heard of a GPS in a car. They were still new to getting cell phones, so that really cracked me up. But okay, I'm going to end this video. Again, if you'd like to help support me and keep me stable and fed, I'd really like a pizza if anybody's got an extra $10. PayPal me /Adrasdea. I will be doing Earthbound when I get back with food. I'm trying to figure out what to do next. I've got to learn the 8 songs that Queen Mary wants. So it's a big pink fluffy marshmallow level, and so far it's fun.